Dear 8th standard students, in today's class we are going to see about the topic heat. So in this lesson you will be learning about how heat is transferred from one object to another object or from one substance to another substance. And you will be learning about the effects of heat and also about calorimetry and also about thermostat and thermos flask. So let us go to the introduction. So all the substances in our surroundings are made up of atoms and molecules. So atoms and molecules, they always will be in vibratory motion. Always the substance will be having energy when there is any movement or motion, and the substance will have an energy that is called heat energy. So this heat energy will flow from hot substance to cold substance or from hot region to cold region. So when heat energy is supplied to any of the substance, what happens? It will increase the atoms and molecules energy and it automatically starts to vibrate. So the atoms and molecules that will be vibrating and make other atoms and molecules also to vibrate, and so the heat energy is transferred from one part of the substance to another part of the substance. We can see heat energy in our day-to-day life. So what are the different effects of heat? The main three effects of heat is expansion, increase in temperature, change in state. So first, what is meant by expansion? With the help of this activity, you can learn the concept expansion. For example, take a metal ball. Okay, you can see a metal ball. This is the metal ball and you can see metal ring. And you have to pass the metal ball through that ring. In the first image, you can see, this is the first image. In the first image, you can see the cold ball fits through the metal ring. The ball is at the normal temperature. The ball is at the normal temperature and the ball is cold, so it passes through the metal ring. Whereas in second case, in second image, check it out, you are heating that metal ball. Okay, after heating that metal ball, it is very difficult for that heated ball to pass through the metal ring. It will not pass through the metal ring. So after some time, after keeping that heated ball in a normal temperature, once again you check, the ball can pass through the metal ring. Why? Because on heating, the solid expands. On heating, the object expands. So this is the first concept. The effects of heat. When you heat some object or solid substance, automatically that object or substance will be expanded. Here we have explained with the help of metal ball. And next effect is rise in temperature. You can see whenever there is any heating takes place or whenever any heating occurs or any heat takes place, automatically there will be increase in temperature. So before that, you need to know, for example, when you are boiling any vessel, okay, boiling a vessel with a cup of water, just fill a water, pour a water in a beaker or vessel and you just boil it, you can see automatically the vessel vibrates. You can feel it because the atoms or molecules that is moving inside the vessel. And so there is a heat energy transfer, okay, from hot object to the cold object. And next thing, rise in temperature. Here is an activity. You are going to take a cup of water and you are just going to note down the temperature. After heating the water for few minutes, now you have to note the temperature again. You can find there will be a rise in temperature. Because when the water is heated, automatically the water molecules will receive the heat energy. So when the molecules receive the heat energy, the temperature of the water automatically increases. This show heat energy causes increase in temperature. And next topic, next change in heat, change of heat or effect of heat is change of state. So from one state to another state, surely there will be changes from one state to another state. For example, you can see you are going to take some ice cubes. You are going to heat it for some time. What happens? The ice cubes melt and form water. Now you are going to heat the water. After heating the water, it becomes vapor. So there is a change of state, say from solid to liquid or liquid to solid or from gas to liquid or from liquid to gas. So definitely there will be a change of physical state or change of state. Okay, this is the third effect. So expansion, increase in temperature and change in state. These are the different effects of heat. So in change of state, you all know conversion of solid state to liquid state is called melting. Nothing but ice cubes. Liquid to gas is called vaporization. And solid to gas is called sublimation. For example, take mothballs or naphthalene balls. It will be in solid state, but after some days it will be transferred to gas and then you can't see that solid ball, mothball or naphthalene ball. So that is an example for sublimation. And then the changes of state from gas to liquid is called condensation, liquid to solid is called freezing, and gas to solid is called deposition. See, water is the only matter that you can find on the earth in all the three states, solid, liquid and gas. We have saw about the effects of heat, and now we are going to see about the transfer of heat. Heat வந்து transfer ஆகும் from one object to another object. So the ways of transfer of heat, there are three ways of transfer of heat, and the three ways are conduction, convection and radiation. So first let us take this activity 4 so that will explain the concept of conduction. First you are going to take some hot water in a cup. You are going to put a silver spoon on it. You are going to leave the spoon inside the water for some time. Now when you touch the spoon, you can feel the heat because the heat is transferred from the hot water of the cup to the spoon. Okay, so here you can see there is a heat transfer takes place from the hot water cup to the spoon. You can feel the heat on the spoon. So this is a best example for conduction. Hot water molecules that automatically vibrates and transfer their heat energy to the atoms present in the spoon, and so the spoon get its vibration and you can feel the heat on the spoon. So these atoms make other atoms to vibrate, and so the heat is transferred to the spoon. Always remember, in conduction heat takes place between the two ends of the solid. So when any two solid substances are there, there will be heat transfer, and in conduction only solid substances can be said. In conduction, heat transfer takes place between two ends of the same solid, and it will only takes place in the solid substances, but both of them will be having different temperature. Both of them will be having at a different temperature. So in shortly, how we can define conduction? Conduction as a process of heat transfer, it takes place only in solid, from region of high temperature to the region of low temperature. So without the actual movement of atoms or molecules. This is a simple definition of conduction. And next topic we are going to see about convection. Before that, conduction. Conduction means you can see automatically vessel is in best example. So vessel is heated, heat is transferred from metal to the food. If you are going to iron the dresses, heat is transferred from the iron box to the cloth. So with cooking utensils, these are some best examples for conduction. You know about inductors, insulators and conductors. Conductors means those metals which can transfer the heat. The substances which does not conduct heat itself, they are called insulator. So best example for insulator is glass, rubber, cotton and wool. And next topic is convection. So simply you can say convection is nothing but there will be some heat transfer. Okay, when water in the vessel is heated, water molecules at the bottom receive heat energy and they move upward. You can look at the diagram. First வந்து நீங்கள் ஒரு வெசல் வச்சு ஹீட் பண்ணுறப்போ பாட்டம் லேயர் தான் உங்களுக்கு ஃபஸ்ட் ஹீட் ஆகும். அப்புறம் அது வந்து அப்பர் லேயர் மேலே உள்ள தண்ணிக்கெலாம் போய் ஹீட் ஆகும். ஸோ when you heat water in the vessel, what happens, automatically the bottom layer will receive the heat energy first and then it moves the upward. So the molecules at the top comes down and get heated. So this kind of heat transfer is called convection. So the form of heat transfer from a place of high temperature to the place of low temperature with actual movement of molecules. Here you can see molecules வந்து move ஆகிறது இங்கே உங்களுக்கு you can see that. So there will be actual movement of molecules takes place here. Whereas in conduction there won't be any movement of molecules or atoms. And in conduction only solid. Whereas here convection it takes place in liquid and gases. So that is the difference between convection and conduction. So convection, in our day-to-day life, what we can see, wind flows from one region to another region. hot air balloon, when heat is transferred, so the balloon automatically, helium balloon and all get raised up. These are the best examples for convection. And what is meant by radiation? Radiation means it is the third form of heat transfer, whereas the heat is in case of conduction, heat is transferred in solid. In case of convection, heat is transferred in liquid and gas. But in case of radiation, only in vacuum, that is nothing but empty space, the heat can be transferred. For example, from sun we are receiving, the earth receives radiation. So radiation is a way of heat transfer from one place to another, form in form of electromagnetic waves. This is an important point. Only with in the form of waves, the radiation, the heat is getting transferred from one place to another place. Best example, from sun the earth is receiving its radiation. So heat energy from the sun reaches the earth. Okay, so these are the best example for radiation in our day-to-day life. And next topic is calorimetry. Calorimetry is nothing but see, whenever some heat energy takes place, you can see both physical change and chemical change. Physical changes நடக்கும். Physical changes என்ன, ஒரு ஆப்ஜெக்டோட வால்யூம் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிறது, சைஸ் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிறது, ஷேப் மாறுறது, இது எல்லாமே physical changes. Not only that, some chemical changes also takes place when you heat some object or any substance. So the actual thing is we need to measure the amount of heat, எவ்வளோ amount of heat அதுக்கு தேவைப்பட்டுச்சு ஒரு physical change or chemical change நடக்க. So in order to measure, we need to measure the amount of heat involved, and this technique to measure the amount of heat involved is called calorimetry. That too mainly that has to be involved some physical change or chemical process has to be taken place, that is called calorimetry. So temperature, you all know, temperature is a physical quantity, and in order to test whether the object is a hot or cold, we would say temperature. And thermometer is an instrument we use to measure the temperature. Three different scales are Celsius, Fahrenheit and Kelvin scale. So what is the unit of heat? The SI system is joule, Joule. SI system of heat is joule. It is represented by symbol J. So 1 calorie is the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree, and 1 calorie equal to 4.186 joule. So if they ask the definition for calorie, you have to say எவ்வளோ ஹீட் எனர்ஜி நமக்கு தேவைப்பட்டது in order to rise the temperature. அது எவ்வளோனா 1 கிராம் ஆஃப் வாட்டர் 1 டிகிரிக்கு எவ்வளோ நமக்கு ஹீட் தேவைப்பட்டுச்சு. ஸோ தட் இஸ் தி definition of calorie. And next topic is heat capacity. Heat capacity can be determined by ஒரு சப்ஸ்டன்ஸ் ஆப்ஜெக்டோட மாஸ் எவ்வளோ, டெம்பரேச்சர் சேஞ்சஸ் நடக்குதா, என்ன மெட்டீரியல் யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம், என்ன ஆப்ஜெக்ட் யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம், அதோட நேச்சர் என்ன, இதை வச்சு we can able to calculate the heat capacity. So different substances, they need different amount of heat energy. Yes, ஒரு particular temperature reach ஆகும்னா ஒரு different substance different temperature தேவைப்படுது. That nature is known as heat capacity of a substance. So if they are asking heat capacity definition, you have to write this. Heat capacity is defined as the amount of heat energy required by a substance. எவ்வளோ heat energy ஒரு substanceக்கு தேவைப்படுது in order to rise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. Heat capacity வந்து C dash அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Heat capacity formula you need to know. C dash equal to Q. Q is nothing but எவ்வளோ heat energy தேவைப்பட்டுச்சு, amount of heat energy required. Delta T is nothing but rise in temperature. And the unit of heat capacity is calorie per degree Celsius. SI systems joules, K inverse. And next topic we are going to see about specific heat capacity. அங்கே heat capacity C dashன்னு சொன்னோம். Specific heat capacity formula is simply C. Amount of heat energy is required divided by mass into rise in temperature. So when the heat capacity of a substance, when it is expressed in unit mass, அது வந்து நம்ம specific heat capacity சொல்லுவோம். And it is denoted by the symbol C. And the specific heat capacity and reduced syllabusல நமக்கு portionsல இல்லை, out of syllabus for this year, but you just need to learn so that it will be helpful for you in 9th standard. Calorimeterங்கிறது ஒரு டிவைஸ். அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் ஹீட் எவ்வளோ கெயின் ஆகியிருக்கு, லாஸ் ஆகியிருக்குன்னு கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்காக calorimeterங்கிற டிவைஸை யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம். ஸோ calorimeter is a device that used to measure the amount of heat gained or lost by a substance. So if you see this diagram image, you can see first வெளியில் ஒரு insulating jacket இருக்கு. okay, and inner side this is the metallic vessel, and that is covered, we have water, we have filled with water, and you can see both side thermometer and stirrer. Thermometer ஒரு பக்கம், stirrer ஒரு பக்கம் இருக்குது. So this paragraph they fully explains about what are the parts that have in calorimeter. ஸோ calorimeter எடுத்திங்கன்னா அது வந்து it is like a vessel. அதில் வந்து காப்பர் ஆர் அலுமினியம் இருக்கும், பிகாஸ் தே ஆர் தி குட் கண்டக்டர்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஹீட் அண்ட் எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி. காப்பர் அண்ட் அலுமினியம் ஹீட், அங்கே எனர்ஜி ஹீட் எலக்ட்ரிக் கரண்ட் பாஸ் ஆகணுங்கிறதுனால வி ஆர் யூஸிங் காப்பர் அண்ட் அலுமினியம். ஸோ மெட்டாலிக் வெசலில் சுற்றி ஒரு இன்சுலேட்டிங் ஜாக்கெட் இருக்குது. ஓகே, திஸ் இஸ் கால்ட் இன்சுலேட்டிங் ஜாக்கெட். திஸ் மெட்டாலிக் வெசல் இட் இஸ் கவர்ட் பை இன்சுலேட்டிங் ஜாக்கெட், பிகாஸ் ஹீட் லாஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா என்விரான்மெண்ட்டுக்கு அதை ப்ரிவென்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக இன்சுலேட்டிங் ஜாக்கெட் அங்கே இருக்குது. 2 ஹோல்ஸ் இருக்குது. ஒரு ஹோலில் வந்து தெர்மோமீட்டர், இன்னொரு ஹோலில் வி ஆர் கனெக்டிங் ஸ்டிரர். ஸோ தெர்மோமீட்டர் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி டெம்பரேச்சர் மெஷர் பண்ணுறதுக்காக வச்சுருக்கோம். ஸ்டிரர் இஸ் யூஸ் டு ஸ்டிர் த வாட்டர் இன்சைடு. அதை இன்னொரு ஹோலில் நம்ம ஃபிட் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ஸோ வெசல் இஸ் ஃபில்டு வித் வாட்டர், ஹீட் எனர்ஜி பாஸ் பண்ணுறோம், கரண்ட் ஃப்ளோ ஆகுது. ஸோ வித் த ஹெல்ப் ஆஃப் திஸ் டிவைஸ் நமக்கு என்ன கண்டுபிடிக்கலாம் அப்படின்னா ஹீட் கெப்பாசிட்டி ஆஃப் எ லிக்விட் எப்படி அப்படின்ட்டு நம்ம மெஷர் பண்ணலாம். ஸோ தட் இஸ் தி calorimeter. And next one we are going to see about thermostat and thermos flask. So you can see this image students, thermostat அப்படின்ட்டு. ஸோ இது வந்து ஒரு டிவைஸ் இல்லைனா சிஸ்டம் சொல்லுவாங்க, தட் கெட்ஸ் ஹீட்டட் ஆர் கூல்டு டவுன் டு ஏ ப்ரீசெட் டெம்பரேச்சர். ஒரு டெம்பரேச்சர் நீங்கள் செட் பண்ணி வச்சுருவீங்க, எதர் ஹீட் ஆகும் ஆர் கூல் ஆகும். அந்த பர்டிகுலர் டெம்பரேச்சர் ரீச் ஆகிற வரைக்கும் it turns on that appliance. அப்புறம் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காகவே இது ஆஃப் ஆகிடும். it turns on appliance or a circuit on or off in a particular temperature ரீச் ஆகிற வரைக்கும் இருக்கும். ஸோ தெர்மோஸ்டாட் எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம்? ஏர் கண்டிஷ்னர், ஹீட்டர், வாட்டர் ஹீட்டர், இது எல்லாத்துலேயுமே நம்ம தெர்மோஸ்டாட் இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷன் தான் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம். பிகாஸ் தெர்மோஸ்டாட் ஃபங்க்ஷன் போத்தாசே இது ஒரு சென்சாராகவும் இருக்கும், கண்ட்ரோலராகவும் இருக்கும். ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் டெம்பரேச்சர் ரீச் ஆகணுன்னு அது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக ஆஃப் ஆகிடும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் வாட்டர் கெய்சர் ஹீட்டர்லாம் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக வந்து உங்களுக்கு ஆஃப் ஆகிடும் ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் டெம்பரேச்சர் அந்த வாட்டர் ஹீட் ஆனதுக்கப்புறம். ஏசியும் அப்படி தான். அண்ட் நெக்ஸ்ட் டாபிக் we are going to see about thermos flask. nothing but normal our flask, no vacuum flask what we are using. கோல்டாகவும் வச்சுக்கலாம், ஹாட்டாகவும் வச்சுக்கலாம். if you pour hot coffee it will be staying hotter. if you are going to use cold water it will be staying cooler. okay, it will be cold. This is the working of thermos flask. it has double wall, okay, and that are evacuated. உள்ள வந்து ஒரு சில்வர்ட் லேயரில் இருக்கும், and it has 2 walls so that it prevents the heat transfer நடக்காமல் பார்த்துக்கும், உள்ளேந்து வெளியில், வெளியிலேருந்து உள்ள. so this is the thermos flask what we are using as a normal vacuum flask. so with a very little air between the walls, we can see there won't be any transfer. உங்களுக்கு வந்து ஹீட் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் நடக்கிறதுக்கான வாய்ப்பே இல்லை, உள்ளேந்து வெளியில், வெளியிலேருந்து உள்ள. and that's what this thermos flask. and we comes to the end of this session. so with the help of this lesson you would have learnt about what is meant by conduction, convection, radiation. calorimeterனா என்னன்னு பார்த்துருப்பீங்க, heat capacity அப்படின்னா என்னன்னு பார்த்துருப்பீங்க. you would also learned about thermos flask and thermostat. the book back questions will be given as a link.